Yeah. So welcome to everybody. Welcome to everybody. But we cannot see the faces. No, you are all covering with your photo, lecture. We cannot see you. See, you are a group, from different programs. Maybe PGDM, PGPM, GMP, EMPA. And again, you are from different batches. But since I have been in the institute for a longer period and taking sessions for from 2015 years, I might have got opportunity to interact with you. That is what I hope. But otherwise, this is an opportunity to interact. So the topic that we are going to discuss, decision under uncertainty. Now, generally, the word uncertainty sometimes creates a fear. Fear because of uncertainty. What is going to happen? See, decision making under uncertainty is we do not know what is going to happen, whether we can have some idea about it, or if the situation changes, what type of decision we take. But the main thing is, are the problems in the world divided like future uncertain and certain factors certain? Is it like that? So when I was looking, there is no watertight compartment between uncertain variables input and certain variable or variables with specific value or deterministic. What we do is we make our own assumption. When the uncertain variables are not conspicuous, then we consider as deterministic model. So whenever we feel we can take a decision, we know these are the outcome if I do this, certain. So the first part of the decision making, that what we have learned is models like linear programming, like product mix model, blending model. Then also there is a provision. Suppose some of the variables change, we can do sensitivity analysis. So one of the things what we have learned is using modeling, linear programming model, and using solver. See, many of you may be remembering, we started solve like that, you remember, no? So this is deterministic model. And the second category, the models where we know it is uncertain, but we have got a fair idea of, or it is estimate, we can make an estimate the probability of occurrence of this. For example, if somebody is telling now that share market has already come to around, say, Sensex around 48,000. Now, what is the chance it will go to 55? What is the chance when the foreign investor suddenly go back, whether it will come to 40? We do not know, but we know it is uncertain. We know that it is going to happen either this side or that side. And it is possible either by historical projection or by expert advice to assign some probability. So when we have got a probability, the second category of decision making will come. The second category of decision making, they are called stochastic model, probabilistic model. There, what are the things we learned in probabilistic model? Decision tree, or simple concept of probability, Monte Carlo simulation. So these are generally referred to as risk analysis and risk management tools. This is the second category. The third category is even the probability we have no idea, but we know something is going to change. Either that something is going to change, but probability not clear. Then the decision making becomes more subjective. The level of optimism, pessimism come into play. The risk aversion attitude come into play, and we take decision. This is the third category. Fourth category is unknown. That is, we do not know. Because before the COVID came, nobody was knowing. It came. So not only probability, we do not know anything. And naturally, when we do not know anything, there is no model, no? Only be prepared. Pray God and be prepared. So these, depending upon the level of uncertainty, people have developed over a period of time different methods of decision-making processes. Now, another important thing is now, it is behavioral in nature. What decision we take is not always bounded by rationality and mathematical modeling. They become only input. And based on those input, I take a decision. And taking the decision need not necessarily be what we call as EMB maximizer. It need not necessarily be maximizing the expected outcome. We may take the worst and the best scenario, then take a decision. So subjective matter, behavioral, and all of us know here, even ethics come into play, spirituality come into the play, because who gives you the objective function? What is that we want to achieve? Who tells that? They are all governed by ethics, spirituality. In other words, I tell you, the decision under uncertainty is such an integral part of our life. And why I am very, very passionate about talking to that, because every decision is decision under uncertainty only. An element of uncertainty is always there. And we are not afraid of that. When the period passes, I'm not afraid of that. Because change, movement is life. I cannot imagine whether a life will be there if things are certain. If everything is programmed and derived by quantitative, the world will, the business world or all activity will stop. No play, no share market, because everything is programmed will play itself and we are not required. So it is not like that. So the thing is, it is an exciting world of uncertainty. So the subject we are going to discuss is how to live effectively in this world of exciting world of uncertainty. So we are looking uncertainty as a thing, a given, and how we live our life, how we play our roles in this life, in this planet, considering the uncertainty, enjoying the uncertainty, enjoying the adventure of the uncertainty, and not with a fear. So let us take one by one. So here, I will briefly tell you, this 1 hour, what all things we are going to discuss. So number one, I will revise the basic of probability, how to use probability for decision making with a small example. Then I am going to take a case study on using Monte Carlo simulation. You know, I like Monte Carlo simulation because I don't know whether you recollect. Monte Carlo simulation is very powerful because it can take not only the expected value, it can give you the different scenario. Worst, what will happen? If things go on well, best, what will happen? Because if the input variables are random in nature, the output also will be random. So depending upon the randomness of the input, how the output will fluctuate, and see that, it can work out only during the historical probability. It can take on conditional probability. It can take posterior probability. And also flexible. So the advantages, we can try different values and see, if I do this, what are possible things? If I do this, what are the possible things? And again, I can use my judgment, looking at the thing to take a decision. And the advantages of Monte Carlo simulation are so many. It can solve very complex problem in a simple way. So one case study I will take where we are able to take simple model. I'm going to build the model along with you, where we can take decision using Monte Carlo simulation under uncertainty. This is the second thing I will be taking. Then third, I will take giving a payoff matrix without probability. If I do this, these are the possible things. If I do this, these are the possible things. Then take optimism and pessimism and the attitude to see how different people take different decisions. And the last part will be deviation from all this. Why people take a lottery ticket, why people take an insurance, how I take a mediclaim, what all governs that type of decision. Then finally, I will connect with ethics and spirituality. Finally, everything is spirituality. So generally, I tell you, this was an introduction. Otherwise, I was thinking of starting with our Srikanth prayer. And actually, no, we should start with like that. So I start the topic after the introduction. This is introducing the topic. Then I will tell. Oh, you can also tell because all of us told. Om Sahana Vavadu. Om Sahanau Bhunaktu. Saha Viryam Garavavahai. Tejasvi Rivadagam. Tejasvi Ridamadamastu. Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Majority of you, when you come, you hear the good, the profound sound of our Srikanth reciting this. So the third word was Tejasvi Navadidamastu. See, sometimes what happened? My sentences go. Tejasvi Navadidamastu. Om Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So with this, we start the topic. So I am going to open my Excel sheet and then explain, or I can use the whiteboard also and explain. I will give you problems. So if you have a notebook, you can do. Otherwise, what will happen? I will do and you can tell me that when I am doing, how it is done. So let me first share some whiteboard. Okay. Now the first case I am going to give you, that is simple probability how to use it. Suppose I say you have got a project and the cost of the project is, say, how much you put? 100 lakhs. 100 lakhs. But this is the mean. It is a variable. It can vary with a standard deviation of, say, 10 lakhs. In other words, I will put like this way. Suppose it is like this, and you have estimated the cost as 100 lakhs, and it varies with a standard deviation of 10 lakhs. And you quoted a price. You quoted a price of 120 lakhs. We want to know what is the probability of a loss. What is the probability of a loss? So actually now when you are in the campus, in the classroom, I would have asked you to do. Then I come around and verify what you are doing and all like that. So anyhow, but a majority of you will be remembering. This is a very simple problem. And in the QT, no, actually there are a large number of sessions, quizzes. So many of you will be knowing also. So generally what happens? In the x-axis, always you have to put what is the variable. You don't think of putting x-axis, price, etc. What is sure? Don't put. X-axis is always the variable. Here cost is the variable. Cost varies. And a loss will come when the cost exceeds price. So I put a line here. I put a line 120. Suppose here I put a line 120. Then the probability of the cost exceeding 120, this is the probability of the loss. So all of you know, this is the probability of loss. All of you know. And all of you also know how to calculate this. Because whenever probability is calculated, we use norm distribution. And whenever we want to calculate the x value, you use norm inverse. Because sometimes people ask me how to remember when to use norm inverse, norm dist. Simple is wherever probability is required, what we have to use? Norm dist. But norm dist always give the left-hand area. So the answer to this question can be simply 1 minus this. When I open the Excel, I will show you norm dist. Because Excel, what happens if you type this now, automatically it will tell what is to be entered here. X is 120, mean is 100, standard deviation is 10, and it is cumulative. So if you click this, after putting a equal to also, answer will come. So we are using a simple knowledge of the probability. Now I go to the next stage. If probability of loss has to be less than, say, 5%, how much we should quote? How much we should quote? Anybody want to tell? So the opportunity still exists. Your alumni does not take away your opportunity of telling the answer. Here what happened? If you participate telling the answer, you will get 10 out of 10. If you do not tell, you will get only 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 is assured because you have come all the way, no? All the way to the online you have come. So here it is same thing only. Waiting room, Lokesh Kumar admitted. Okay. So our friend is admitting everybody. Okay. Now here same type of thing only. Here what happened? If I want to draw that drawing again, it is same thing. But here I have to first draw the area. The probability of this exceeding this, instead of this area, I have to reduce the area. Now this is only 0.05. If it is so, what is this X? That is the question. And every time the down is the variable. Every time the cost is the x-axis. And this is the standard deviation. So here what you have to find out? If the probability of the loss, that is the cost exceeding the price, is 0.05, what is X? Simple method is, if this is 0.05, cost within the price is 95%. And therefore the answer is norm inverse. Norm inverse of, when you put norm inverse, it will tell 0.05. Probability 0.95, that is the probability of acceptance, comma, mean, comma, standard deviation. You get price to be quoted. So these things you have learned already.
Sesha sir, Sadhvi Sood ma'am has her hand raised. I guess she has something to speak.
Who? You can tell again.
No, I don't have any question.
Okay.
You have got any question?
No, sir.
You can tell also. Okay, see, so the first part you have understood. Because just like we do in the class earlier also, I used to promise you that when the class is over, what I have explained to you is already by hearted by you. You already know that. So it is not that you take down something, read something, no. So this is very simple. If you know the variable, that is the x-axis, standard deviation, you can sketch a normal curve. And if probability is required, you can use norm dist. And if X is required, you can use norm inverse. And remember that it is always on the left-hand side area. If you remember these three, you can solve many problems. This is the first part. Now I am going to tell the second part, which is the basics of Monte Carlo simulation. So the basics of Monte Carlo simulation I am going to tell. Okay, so I stop sharing and go with our Excel sheet. And here we are going to tell about using Monte Carlo simulation. Monte Carlo simulation. Now in Monte Carlo simulation, the interesting thing about the Monte Carlo simulation is there can be many variables, not one variable like a cost. There can be many things. So I am going to revise your knowledge about Monte Carlo simulation with a very simple example. Let us take SPJMR. Case is not about SPJMR, but I know that in SPJMR, you are aware that we are making a new hostel building. And also we are making a student recreation center. And another one, we are using a faculty housing. The real thing. This we are going to make. And the total area is 2.8 lakh square feet. So pretty big, lakh square feet. And the estimated cost, we have estimated around 120 lakhs. For that.
Sesha
This is
sir,
our-
your screen is not shared.
Not shared? Okay.
No, sir.
Let me see again. Because I think I have not stopped the sharing again. Now it is coming or not coming?
It's visible, sir.
Visible.
Yes, sir.
So anyhow, you have heard it, therefore I need not repeat. So this building is coming near all of you are staying, no? That hostel, near that hostel on the left side, near the lake, two building will come, and the other side of the lake, this come. So this plan already, you know, we have appointed JLL as the consultant, and the quotations have been called for. And one of the company to whom we are going to consider is called Harsh Construction. So this particular problem that I am referring to is a problem of Harsh Construction, not of SPJMR. Now they want to decide, what is the decision they want to take? Decide how much to quote. How much to quote. This is the decision. Now, why the decision is complex? There are many things uncertain. What is the cost? They do not know. But they know that expected or estimated cost, suppose I say, is 130 lakhs. 130 lakhs. But it has got a standard deviation. It has got a standard deviation of, say, 10. Standard deviation. Now you may be feeling how you can say Harshvardhan do not know about standard deviation, then how they arrive at the standard deviation. If you do not know, easier way is you can take what is the maximum cost that you are thinking will be there, and what is the minimum cost if things go well, how much it will cost, and you can divide by 6. Because since we assume plus or minus 3 sigma covers the 99%, then it is reasonable to assume that the standard deviation is maximum minus minimum by 6. Otherwise, standard deviation 10. So cost is uncertain. Second thing is the duration required is uncertain. What is the time span? Uncertain. They feel that 22 is what is expected is 22 months. 22 months is what is expected. But it has got a standard deviation of, say, 2 months is the standard deviation. Now, third is They do not know whether they will get the order. What are the competitor prices? What are the competitor prices? That also they do not know. And assuming I am going to give some assessment of the competitor prices. But here in our contract, we have specified time given by us is 24 months. 24 months. And any delay, there is a penalty of 1 lakh. 1 lakh per month of delay. Now, he assessed, he came to know who are the people who are otherwise quoting. There is a party from Gujarat and another Shapurji, another one. And he assesses what price they will be quoting. Here we are assuming he knows the probability. So I will say competitor 1, how much they quote. Competitor 2, how much they quote. Competitor 3, how much they quote. Now, we have some idea what is the price they are going to quote and what is the probability that they will be quoting. Suppose I tell you the chances are that these people will be quoting somewhere from starting from 130. I see, even though I can make a minor one, I will make a 130, 140, 150, 160, 170. These are the different prices the people are going to quote. Now the probability, competitor 1, I have assumed as a 0.1. That is the probability of quoting 130. Similarly, 0.2, 0.4. So I put a 0.2, 0.4, then 0.2, 0.1, 0.2, 0.1. So the total total should be 1. Okay, now this is the probability. Now the competitor 2, he is the little more certainty there. He is going to quote either 140 or 150 or 160 with probability of, I have taken as 0.2, 0.6, then again 0.2. Now let us take the case of competitor 2. He again starts with a 130. He may quote 140. He may quote 150. He may quote 160, like that. And here also we know the probability, and the probabilities I have taken are 0.1, 0.2, 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, 0.5, and 0.2, correct, 0.2. So these are the probability. So these, with these data, so there are, you have to see, multiple uncertainty. How I have to decide how much I quote. Suppose I say I have got option. I wanted to verify what will happen if I quote. I am going to give few options. What will happen if I quote 135? What will happen if I quote 145? What will happen if I quote 155? I like that I can check what will happen in various prices. What will happen? So we are going to do Monte Carlo simulation to see what is the outcome when I quote this, when I quote this, when I quote this, when I quote this, with multiple uncertainty. This is the problem. So understand the case. If you want to appreciate how the Monte Carlo simulation is able to solve a relatively complex problem, because there are multiple variables. You cannot do by simply probability curve, etc., because there are many. And all of us know that if I quote higher, I may not get the order. So I tell you, bidding cost. I will put a bidding cost. Bidding cost. Suppose I put as say 0.5 lakhs. 0.5 lakhs. That means if I quote, if I do not get an order with all the work that I have done for estimation, etc., I will lose 0.5. Now see what will happen. How the Harsh is thinking is, if I quote low, I will get the order. But chance of loss making is very high because cost can even reach 150, 160. Suppose I quote very high, I can reduce the risk of making a loss. But I will not get the order. I will simply lose 0.5. Now again I have to consider, suppose my delay, I have to pay the penalty. So I am going to explain you with this case study how we are going to use Monte Carlo simulation. See, Monte Carlo simulation, if you want to learn, what you have to see is, I will take a decision making as a system where there are input variables. So I will say, I will put one this. Okay, so I put here, let this be the system. In this system, there are many inputs. So I am going to put various inputs I am going to put. So I say various inputs. Inputs are the input variable. For example, one can be my cost, and another thing can be the price quoted by the different competitors. And there can be again another one, which is the penalty. And then we know the bidding cost, etc., where we have to again consider a cost pattern of taking if there is a delay, what is the penalty that we have to pay? That is another type of input that is happening. Okay, then here I put this way. Then another will be my decision variable. That is, I have to decide how much price I am quoting, whether I am quoting 130, 144, how much I am quoting, that is another variable. And then we have got the outcome, which is my profit. So finally I say the outcome is the profit. This is the profit. So this profit, which is the outcome, is a function of all this input. So we say y is equal to a function of many x, like x1, x2, x3, like that. There are many x. Now I divide this into three categories. I'm going to divide into three categories. Number one, known variable, known with certainty. Variables, input variables, which are known with certainty. Second one is random variables, which is uncertain. So we call it random variable. Third one is decision variable. Okay. Now in Monte Carlo, see this, if you listen very properly, you can understand the gist of the Monte Carlo simulation if you listen now. The known variable, whatever is known, in the equation, you use it only because it is known. You use it. Don't do anything, just use. Decision variable, you try different value. Random variable, you simulate. In other words, if these are the random variable, suppose I say these are all random variables. So here this is a one random variable. Okay. Then another random variable. Okay. So these are all random variables. If some of the input variables are random, the output will be random. Remember that. You cannot have a definite value for the output. If input is random, output is random. It will be more random. Like this. So what does Monte Carlo simulation do? They generate this so that you can see what is happening. What is the average? What is the worst? What is the best? How the minimum profit, maximum profit, everything can be calculated by doing what? Simulating the random variables, using the non-variable, and trying different values of the decision variable. This is what we are going to do. So let us see now. So we start the problem. Wherever we want to put a simulation, I have to put a separate column. Wherever known, I can directly click from here. So I am going to try. First, I am going to try quote. I will choose 145. So I am going to quote 145. Now, how does competitor 1, how much he will quote? Then competitor 2, how much he will quote? Then competitor 3, how much they will quote? So I am going to simulate this. Here I tell you, there are in Excel, there are very simple methods of simulation. So if I want to simulate this, what you have to do is, you have to left side, you have to make a cumulative probability table. Start with 0, come down, click equal to, here add the probability, drag it down. If you do this is the cumulative probability. That is any random number from 0 to 0.1, demand will be taken as 130. Any random number from 0.1 to 0.3, demand will be taken as 140. And random numbers have got equal probability of occurrence. In other words, if I type here equal to VLOOKUP in bracket rand, comma, this table, comma, 2, because the value has to be taken from the second column. If you type this, so generally in the class I tell people, you note down this. If you are not familiar, note down this, because this is a function in the Excel. VLOOKUP rand probability table 2. When I click this, one value will come. But when you are doing now, 130 may not come. It can go on changing. Suppose I press the function F9, I can see 150, 160, 150, you're going on changing, because it will be occurring with the same probability. Suppose you want to see, if I draw here, these will occur with the same probability. So what I do, I will freeze this table with a $sign. I will freeze this table with a $sign. Okay. So to show you what is happening, I will do some simulation around 5, 6. So many places, since the probability of 150 is more, 150 is occurring many times. So if you can try, when you get time, if I draw a number of time, the number of time 150 will occur will be 40% of the number of simulation. 130 will occur only 10% of the time, provided the number of simulation is large. This is the way we simulate. Similarly, I simulate all the variable. For example, here, so revision. What is the revision? Start with a 0, come down, put equal to, put here, add the probability. So it cumulated, drag it down, make the cumulative probability, come here. What do you type? Equal to what? We look up. In bracket what? Rand. So the random number is generated. And then the random number generated is compared in this table. And if the random number is between 0.2 and 0.8, it will read as 150. So to click, freeze this by $sign, enter, and make a few simulation. See, when you are doing this, these will be changing, and don't worry about that. Don't get attached to the old random number. Whatever is there on the screen at any point of time is equally valid random number. Sometimes, people ask me, oh, what happened? My earlier number gone. They are not gone. Whatever number is here also equally valid random number. Similarly, I do this as a revision. How you do this? 0. Everything, everything revised. Don't get bored by revision. On the contrary, you have to say, I am revising. Then you will be more happy. So here, you calculate this equal to this plus this. Enter. And then, what is the next? Drag it down. Cumulative table ho gaya. Then here, what we do? Again tell. All of you can tell. We look up. We look up. Yes. Rand function. Rand function will generate random number. And it will verify whether the random number are decimal. So whether it is lying between 0.1 to 1.3, then 140 will be taken. Between 0.3 to 0.3, 150 will be taken. That is the meaning of this. So this, and now the table is this. So we have to see the table here. Now this is the table. Table, comma 2, because from the second column it will take. And I will freeze this. Okay. And then press F4, enter. Oh yeah, hamara 3 vendor simulated. Now what I'm going to find out? Whether I get the order or not. How will I find out? That will depend upon where my price is lower than the lowest. So I have to find out what is the lowest of this. Lowest of these 3. So I have to find out what is the lowest of these 3. Why that is important? Because where I get the order or not will depend upon my price in comparison with the lowest. So I can make a program. If my price is lower than this, I will get the order. If my price is, if not, I will not get the order. So this will indicate that. That is the lowest. Now, second, let us see what is the duration. What is the duration? Then, or initially I will put the cost. What is the cost? How much the project will cost? And cost, we have seen the expected is 130, but it has got a standard deviation of 10. How to simulate a normally distributed function? That is what I am going to explain to you. How will we simulate normally distributed function? That is given by norm inverse. Norm inverse. Rand. Comma. Expected value 130 cost. Standard deviation 10. Very simple. I will get the cost. These are various costs. Okay. Now, cost I have got. Now, the second thing is I will find out what is the duration of the project, how much duration it will take. And same thing I do. Duration is equal to what? Duration is equal to again norm inverse of rand mean time standard deviation. So this is the duration. Okay. Then I will tell you, is there any delay? So I will say delay. Delay is equal to maximum of, see, delay happen when this project duration is more than 24, because 24 is permitted, more than 24 or 0. So in other words, if I click here and depending upon, suppose I go and change it here, no delay because these are all within 24. But suppose it is more than 24, delay will come. Now comes simulation modeling. Simulation modeling is this equation, y is equal to f of x. So you have to calculate if these are the variable, these are the set of input variable, taking different values, what is the profit that you get? What is the profit you get? Profit is equal to if my price is lower than the minimum, then profit is equal to my price minus the cost of the project minus 0.5 the bidding cost, minus 0.5 the bidding cost, minus the penalty for delay into 1 lakh. If
Sorry
not-
to barge in, sir. Sesha,
Ah.
sir. Sir, Manish sir has asked a question. What is the formula for delay?
Delay. Okay. So I will explain that. Okay, let me complete this. I will come to delay again. So here, see, this is the most important part in simulation. This you can do only if you have got a domain knowledge. See, understanding simulation is only some statistics and mathematics. So linking the input to output for finance means you should know what is the option, what is the put price, what is the other price. So here, see this. If my price is lower than the minimum, then I get the order. So the profit will be what? My price minus cost, minus the cost, minus 0.5 is the bidding cost, minus whatever the delay, I have to pay 1 lakh. This will be the profit. If not, a loss of 0.5. Now in this, I have to carefully, E33, I have to freeze. Because for all the item I will be doing this only. And E33 minus this, minus 0.5. And all these are okay. So I enter. So I am here, I'm not getting the order. Therefore, 0.5. If I drag it, I get different values. So some more, this is not a value. So if E33 is less than here also I have to put E33. I have not freeze. Wherever you do not freeze, no, it will show you a wrong one. Okay. So when I get the order, some profit or loss come. So to have a brief, this we have simulated. Cost equation, norm inverse. Duration again, norm inverse. Delay is what? Delay is what is the duration in comparison with the 24? 24 months is given. This is the actual duration. So you see the equation. Either the duration the project is taking minus 24 or it is 0 only. See, the delay cannot be negative. So whenever this is higher than 24, delay is equal to that higher value minus 24. That is the meaning of delay. Okay. Now, I do it. I started from 36. I just drag it down. Suppose I want to do 100 simulation. Then I'll just go 135. Just go simply. Do 135. Okay. Then you can take all the thing. What is the minimum of this? What is the maximum of this? You can prepare a histogram of this. You can analyze the profit. So, for example, if I want to analyze the profit, what I will do, I will go to data. I will go to data. I will go to the data analysis. I will select a histogram. And in the histogram, I will put the different the profit that I have got, the different profit that I got. Okay, now I just cover this. Then I'll put a chart output and say, okay. So the probability of getting a profit of 29 lakhs is only 5, 3, etc. And the probability of getting a loss is only 1%. But 65% chance that around 0.5 lakhs I will end up with. So I can find out expected value. I can find out the best scenario is I can get up to 33 lakhs also. Worst scenario, maximum loss incurred will be 3.7. This way I find out what will happen if I quote 135. Then I change it. Suppose instead of 145, if I quote 155, I have to just put 155. When I put 155, number of minus 0.5 increases because many a time I am not getting the order. The probability of getting the order is so small. I do not get any order. So the chance is very less. This way, I go on trying different values that I have to quote. So I will quote instead of this. Suppose I quote a lower price. Suppose I quote only 135. I want to see. Then what happened? Many a time you get the order. See, you can see that. But there is a big chance of this negative also. Suppose I want to make a histogram of this by quoting one this. Again, I will go to data analysis, histogram, and again click the new one. New one I click. Now, the probability distribution is like this. The risk of negative increases. Even I may lose a 25 up to 15. And then very good probability of getting 12, 14, etc. Like this. So by this example, I may decide to quote only 135, even though the risk is there because I am sure to get the order and I will control the cost. So this way, Monte Carlo simulation is used in order to solve a comparatively complicated problem. Okay, so what is the thing you want to ask? I give you some other other than this, no, I will give you some other simple problem. I will ask you some simple problem. See, this has been tested by people. You are going to participate in a gamble. And you have to pay, say 100 rupees you have to pay. You have to pay. To participate in this, you have to pay 100 rupees. And gamble number 1, there are 10 chits are written there. 10 chits. 10 chits. Out of this, 9 chit, it is written 1000. 9 chit, it is written 1000. 1000. Like that, 9 chits, it is written. And 1 chit, it is written 0. And they will take a chit. And if you, the 1 chit with the 0 number means you lose your 100 rupees. But any other chit you get 1,000 rupees. So when the interview was conducted, many people said, okay, we'll participate. Because there is a 0.9 probability of getting 1,000. So the expected value is 1,000 into 0.9. 900 minus 100. So the EMV is 800. So the EMV is 800. How you get 800? Because the probability of getting 1,000 is 0.9. Because 9 out of that 10 chits contain 1,000. Now they were offered another one. Here what happened? One chit, it is written 10,000. And 9 chits, it is written 0. Then people ask, will you participate in this? What do you think? Which you prefer? Suppose you are given, you have got only 100 rupees. Either you can participate in this or participate in this or do not participate. So you have got 3 choices. What do you think you will do? This is better or this is better? This is better or this is better? See, when the interview was conducted, no, this EMV 1,000 into 0.1, 10,000 into 0.1 is 1,000. 1,000 divided by minus this. Here the EMV was 900. What is EMV? The value multiplied by probability. So 10,000 into 0.1. Why 0.1? Because only 1 out of the 10 chits contain. So here the expected value is 10,000 minus 0.1. Here it is 1,000 into 0.9. EMV maximizer may choose this, but majority people said we will choose this. Why majority said? Because people are ready to forgo some EMV in order to avoid uncertainty. This is a practice. I can give different example. See, what is the spelling? I don't know. Kaun banega crorepati. One program is there, no? Kaun banega crorepati. So, crorepati, you are participating, and Amitabh Bachchan is sitting, and you are asking, you are answering, and you have come to a stage. You are getting 1 lakh. You have come to a stage because initially, the price is less. So you have come several rounds and you have already come to a stage of 1 lakh. Then Amitabh Bachchan is telling, now the next question, that he gives the question. And then the price is 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs is the price. Next price is 10 lakhs. But wrong answer means you will lose your wrong answer means you lose your 1 lakh. Will you participate? Assuming out of the 4 choices, you are already, by giving the chance like that, and already now you are 50-50 sure. 50-50 sure of the answer. Will you participate? So what is the thing? You are already getting 1 lakh. If you quit the program now, I am exiting. 1 lakh you are having. Oh, 1 lakh. But suppose you answer and you get a correct answer, 10 lakh. Will you go ahead by answering? But if you do not answer, the 1 lakh that you got go. So in our calculation, what happened? We calculated the EMV. 10 lakh into 0.5, 5 lakhs. And what we are losing is 1 lakh only. So one side we are losing 1 lakh, another expected value 5 lakhs. So we have to answer. But 75% of the people said they will quit. Why they said they will quit? Because always it is not governed by the expected monetary value. Already you have got 1 lakh. Why take the risk and losing the 1 lakh? So the value that you are assigning to the 1 lakh with certainty is much higher than the 5 lakhs which you probably may get. So this theory is called utility. That means when the higher people avoid a higher penalty and they are ready to sacrifice a higher amount. Another thing I tell you, you join a Mediclaim. You join a Mediclaim. And in the Mediclaim, you have to pay 20,000 rupees. And you are covered for medical expenses in hospital with an amount of 5 lakhs rupees. And you know the chance of you getting admitted and using this is 1 by 100 only. So will you join the Mediclaim? Now, if the expected value 5 lakh into 1 by 100 is only 5,000 rupee. For a 5,000 rupee benefit, should I spend 20,000? The reverse happened. 70% people said we will take the Mediclaim because the amount that they are going to lose, they don't want to lose such a heavy amount. So always see that the decision making is much far beyond the item list. So this type, many problems are there. And now because of the time constraint, I am not going to take the optimistic, pessimistic, etc. They are simple also. Meanwhile, I directly come to the last part by telling you how the strategy, spirituality, ethics come into being. So I just stop sharing because I will be mainly now talking and I want to hear me because I want to see your opinion because at this age, I have come to certain conclusions. So I am verifying with you whether it sounds correct. Now, what is the objective? Who tells the objective? All these models are developed as if that we are sure about the objective. I tell you, we are not sure about the objective. If you say profit, or if you say for whom you are working in a corporate, so you say managing director, CEO. No, the CEO, managing director also may resign, go to another company. So there is no meaning in telling that you are working for the CEO. Then somebody said, I want to increase the shareholder value. Who is the shareholder? You buy share, sell share, shareholders are going on fluctuating. Where is the shareholder? So a question comes when I am in a company, what is the objective? I tell you, whichever decision you take, who are impacted, you have to see. If it is employee, if it is customer, if it is colleague, is it profitability of the company, and your ethical value system. With all that, we have to take a decision. Don't worry about a particular thing. And you have to give your own priority. I give a lot of importance to how to choose the objective is more than quantitative analysis. What is the choice? I can understand if I am investing money, what is the profitability? Should I put the money in the share market or in the equity or in the debt market or bond? I can use some quantitative because I am everything I am only. I lose, I gain, okay. But whenever your decision impacts other people, and the divinity has taken through our instrument of this body a role in order to be useful to other. So how we live, how we make other people happy, how we impact with other decision, how to make an impactive role on the other is selecting the objective ethically. And in our, we have got, for moksha, there are two methods are there. One is called pravritti and another is called nivarti. Nivarti is sannyasa. But as in the current day, when you are taken a body by nature, pravritti is the method. You have to play an active role by impacting usefully other people's life. So the objective selection becomes very high important. And there are a number of corporate cases. I don't know, some of the PGDM, other people, I have taken the case of the Merck company and the other that Telizon, that poison, different company where they take a decision not on the financial quantitative analysis. Other thing is emotional. See, I want to marry, not me. Suppose my daughter or one of you want to marry. How to what extent you can use quantitative methods? You say, I know, I will assign some ratio. I will put for my wife qualification, education, beauty, height, communication. I assign different marks. I tell you confidentially a secret. Don't tell other people. I tried my daughter's case because she was going through Bharat matrimony and all. So we prepared a table. Then I put how much importance you give. Okay, 10%, 20%. She was going on changing. Then all the tables are over. Finally, what happened? She selected a person from the lot and then asked me to change all the probability accordingly. So the decision now already taken. It is all emotional. You know one thing, our prakriti, no, already we take by our the ratio of the sattva, raja, tamo, guna, we take decision. So I will tell you, I have just noted one particular one. I can even remember also. That is telling prakriti kriyamanani gunai sarvani karmada karmana sarvani karmada aham bhava vimudhatma karta ahamidi manyade. See that word of this Bhagavad Gita tells prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvada aham bhava vimudhatma karta aham idi manyade. That means prakriti, prakritya, Arjuna, you are Kshatriya, by prakritya, you will take a decision like this. And therefore, according to our nature and our attitude, risk-taking, everything, we take a decision. Aham bhava vimudhatma. Because of my aham feeling, I feel that I am taking the decision, a quantitative man I am taking. No. So the decision takes place. Another place it is also said that Ishvaraga sarvabhudanam hridesha arjuna dushtadi brahmayan sarvabhudani yandranudana samstuda. That means they, like a yandra here, you are rotating with this automatically. So I am telling you, with all, you just think about it, all the new item coming, like your machine learning, artificial intelligence and all the thing. Decision making is not going to be shifted to anywhere. It is emotional in nature. It is ethical in nature. It is non-quantitative in nature. So I have briefed certain things about the decision under uncertainty. Now, any few minutes, anything is there, you can ask me. So anyhow, glad that I hope that you heard what I was telling and you can think more about it. So any specific thing is there, I'll just specify. Otherwise, now can you tell some important question, Kedia, from important question you can tell? Because I am very slow in reading. Okay, that is, you can tell.
Yes, sir. So,
some important thing question you ask.
So I feel the session was really good. I'm sure that many of us got to learn a lot of things over here. I request all my beloved alumni to please turn on their videos so that you can capture this memorable event.
So I have taken classes to you know. Either anybody to whom I have not taken classes. Those, if somebody there below 2006, even I tell you 1997 to 2006, I was a visiting faculty. So only those who are there later, there may be only few people where I might not have got opportunity to take classes. I still continue at SP Jain and continue to take classes. I enjoy taking classes, sharing my views. So this is a great opportunity. I could see you again. And this Excel sheet I'll be sharing that you can, the alumni department will share that you can use. So there are many things actually. Decision under uncertainty is a big topic. In one session, we were trying to see the different aspects. That was the purpose of this. So anything else?
Hello, sir. This is Satya from batch of 2010. I was just curious to hear your thoughts on how do you approach the decision of taking or waiting to take COVID vaccine in the current situation? Do you approach it quantitatively or not?
No, we do not know quantitatively what happened. No, because the probability and all, is not a correct assessment. Suppose they say before the when the Covaxin or this will be coming. That itself was doubtful. So around 3 months back, people had no idea at all of this. Then the COVID graph, that also, it may be coming up and coming down and all. And then again, certain time it is recurring also. So I have not a big belief in the quantitative analysis, because people go on capturing. But the advantage of decision under uncertainty is you can go on changing the decision also. That is the advantage. When you take a decision, because every time we discuss now when we should open the college, when we should invite all of you to the campus. So when we planned initially said we will start in November, then the things were not improving. Now we shifted to January. Now we are waiting for the government this. This is one. Another thing is, I generally am a person of high optimism. And therefore what I feel, all the things that has happened, including COVID and all the impact, they are all things. Gadasuna gadasumscha nanu shojanti bandida. Don't worry about this. They are all coming and going. Therefore, this is a matter of time. So either all the by the injection or by the herd immunity, all the things according to me will vanish within a period of 6 months, and thing will be normal. And whenever now a thing comes a very down, it has got a potential to go very high. People are waiting when I can fly, when I can go visit places, when I can go to a hotel, where I can eat, when I can film, all compressed. So there is a good potential that after 6 months, things may boom. And that is reflected in the share market.
Yeah, true. Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
Hello, sir. Yeah, this is Parag. I'm hearing you from Father Agnel.
Father
And
Agnel.
yes, sir. It's a great pleasure to hear you always. And it's my wish if we can have such a multiple session in future.
No, I will be always feeling happy, because I don't want to trouble you again and again. You have got lots of enjoyable things to do, and we should never trouble youngsters. Let them be whatever happy. Otherwise, whenever you group together and tell me that something is required, I'll be always happy.
Thank you,
Because
sir.
I was there for Father Agnel Engineering College, for 22 years. Then I retired and came here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Then anything else? Anybody else? Anything else?
This is Sunil here, class of 2007 operations.
Every alumni meets Sunil, I meet you.
Yes,
Because
sir, correct.
You come with your wife and you said you are in New Bombay. I always remember you.
Exactly, sir. And absolutely fascinating listening to you again, sir. And your energy, enthusiasm has not diminished one bit. You taught us way back in 2006, and it still feels like yesterday. So absolute pleasure listening to you again, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Absolute treat listening to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Because when I see you, my energy increases.
Hello. Hi.
Tell me, madam. Tanya.
Good evening, sir. This is Tanya from the PGDM batch of 2015. We were all really looking forward to our 5-year reunion and attending the classes in person this year. A couple of us were joined the Spandan event last year, but I'm hoping we'll be able to have that maybe with the next year's batch, so that we can.
Next year, sure.
have the
Next year,
faculty.
I'm very sure. Next year, all of us will meet. And I also like to meet you.
And thank you for the wonderful session today.
Yes.
Ma'am, even we actually wanted to meet you all guys, but because of we couldn't come to our campus, so we thought, okay, let's meet virtually. Why not? After all, we need only just a medium to meet each other, right? So that is why we thought, let's meet about here. So I would like to thank Seychelles sir for taking such a wonderful session. I'm sure we all got to learn something. If not at least something, we at least went back to our nostalgic memories, right? Apart from that, I would like to thank our beloved alumni for turning up and being so patient and listening over here, and also interacting and participating along the session. Further, I request our alumni to please join us at 6 p.m. for the Spandan event. The link for the same.
You said you want to take a photograph. You said.
Yes, sir, I have to take a photograph. I request all my beloved alumni to please turn on their videos, probably put some reactions if they wish to, and let's make this moment memorable.
So I am okay now. Okay.
Yes, sir. You're always young and.
Okay.
Thank you, alumni. So the session is officially closed, but if you guys want, you guys can chat. We have 10 minutes over here.
They can chat with each other. See, we should give sufficient time for them to cheat with each other also. So with Yash permission, I also leave along with you.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. The session
And
is
I
yours, sir.
will join back at what time you have to join back for the Spandan meet? 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir, 6
PM, yes,
p.m.,
sir.
sir.
6 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
So thank you very much. So all
Thank
the
you, sir.
blessing to you, and we will
Thank you
meet
so much,
again.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, alumni. We hope
Thank
to see
Thank
you
you,
all in
sir.
Spandan 6 p.m. in the other link.